The courtroom fell silent as the judge's voice thundered through the chamber. "Remove it right now. That's a courtroom, not a parade." The demand echoed, stern and dismissive, catching everyone off guard. All eyes turned toward the lone figure standing tall before the bench. He wasn't on trial, hadn't spoken a word, but his presence commanded attention. Dressed in the deep blue uniform of a United States Army tomb guard, he stood immaculately still, a portrait of discipline. Folded white gloves rested gently in his hands, and pinned to his chest shone the Medal of Honor. He had come to quietly support the grieving family of a fallen comrade, not to be the center of controversy. Yet here he was, facing a judge who looked upon the nation's highest military decoration, not with reverence, but disdain. The tension in the room grew heavy as the silence pressed in, thick with disbelief and indignation. "I said, remove it," the judge barked again, louder this time, frustration flaring. The tomb guard didn't flinch. Instead, he raised his chin slightly, eyes unshaken. "Your Honor," he said, voice low but resolute, "this is not insignia. It is the Medal of Honor awarded in combat. It is not for decoration, it is for remembrance." His words hung in the air, dignified and immovable. The judge scoffed and sneered. "This isn't Arlington. You're not guarding a tomb here, you're in my courtroom, and I'm giving you a lawful order." A murmur rippled through the gallery. Veterans clutched their hats tighter. A young Marine started to rise before a bailiff subtly motioned him down. Yet the tomb guard remained unwavering. "With all due respect," he replied, "you may command this courtroom, but you do not command this medal. It belongs to the sacrifice of others, those who cannot speak today. I wear it for them." The judge's face flushed crimson with anger. "If you don't comply, I'll hold you in contempt," he growled. Then came a silence more profound than any verdict ever delivered. A silence born from moral resistance. Suddenly, from the back of the room, an elderly man stood. His uniform bore the wear of years, his hands trembling slightly, but his voice rang steady and firm. "Your Honor," he said, "I'm a retired colonel. That man has earned the right to wear that medal in any courtroom, church, or street on this earth. You're not asking him to remove a pin. You're asking him to erase every brother and sister buried to earn it." His statement hit like a stone in still water. Another voice rose, then another. The gallery stirred, some standing, others clutching photos, all refusing to sit down. The judge's authority cracked like glass under pressure, each voice a chisel against arrogance. A woman stepped forward, her eyes brimming with tears. In her hands, she held a worn photo of her son, smiling in his uniform. Her voice quivered, but did not break. "He served with the man you're threatening," she said. "He didn't come home. But that medal, that honor, that's all I have left of what they stood for. You don't get to erase that." The judge fumbled, motioning for bailiffs to restore order. But the bailiffs didn't move. Even they, bound by duty, chose silent defiance. No one in the courtroom would aid in stripping a symbol of sacrifice. The tomb guard, voice barely above a whisper, addressed the judge one last time. "Your career," he said, "may have risen from verdicts and decisions. Mine was carved in blood and silence. You may strip my words from record, but you will never strip the meaning from this medal." The air trembled with conviction. The room erupted, not in chaos, but in a brief, respectful applause. It was spontaneous, restrained, yet more powerful than any gavel's strike. That single moment leapt beyond the courtroom walls. Cameras had captured everything. By evening, the clip ignited across social media, sparking outrage, grief, and pride. Millions watched the silent standoff between power and principle. Veterans across the country united in protest. Petitions demanding the judge's resignation gathered tens of thousands of signatures overnight. Gold Star families came forward, sharing stories, photos, and pain. The nation, touched by one man's unshakable dignity, rose in collective defense of honor. Within days, the judge resigned, not due to scandal or corruption, but from a complete failure to understand the sacred weight of valor. The tomb guard quietly returned to Arlington. There, in eternal silence, he resumed his sacred duty. True honor, it turns out, doesn't need permission. It just stands firm and endures.